how to find out is the weighted average cost of capital. So remember, the client for whom you are doing this valuation of five-star hotel, he is likely to use the funding in combination of debt and equity. And if he is going to use the funds in the combination of debt and equity, you will obviously need to find his WACC. And what is WACC? WACC is weighted average. WACC is weighted average cost of capital. So how do we calculate the WACC? First of all, put all your sources of capital, and that is your equity share capital, reserves, preference share capital, debentures, term loan, and so on and so forth. And then write down as to what is the cost each of these sources incurring for you. Then write down the amount of each of these sources. And then you can assign the weights. And how will you assign the weights? You will assign the weights based on the portion of each of the sources. So equity share capital is 2,000, reserves is 5,000, 10% preference share capital is 1,000, 12% debenture is 6,000, 9% term loan is 10,000. All of them put together comes to 24,000, and therefore their weights will be as 2, 1, 2, 5, 1, 6, 10, and total 24. Now what you have to do is, now you find out the product. So how do you find out the product? So you will find out the product, take your cost and take the weight and find out the product. So your cost of equity is 15%, weight of equity is 2, so 15 into 2 becomes 30, and like that you do the calculation, and what you come to know, you come to a figure of 220, which is the product, and you divide this 220.3 with the weight, which is 24. So what you get is 9.2%, and this 9.2%, remember, is your weighted average cost of capital. So weighted average cost of capital is nothing but the cost of capital of the entire capital structure of the buyer of the hotel. So this is one example that I have discussed with you, but this example will vary depending on how the buyer of the hotel intends to do the funding of the hotel. Okay, now remember, when you are computing the cost of capital, in computation of cost of capital, there is no problem as far as the preference share capital or debenture or term loan cost is concerned, because the rates are always given. The problem is with regard to finding out the cost of equity. Finding out the cost of reserves also is not a problem, because the cost of reserves is always same as the cost of equity. The problem is how to find out the cost of equity. So for the cost of equity, what we have a formula which is known as CAPM. Any question, please?